ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us this evening as we recognize our veterans for their unwavering service to America. Across this great country and throughout the world, Americans paused this past Monday to honor our brave fighting men and women who for more than 230 years have underwritten our freedom by their duty, honor, and selfless service. We recognize that our veterans have given something of themselves to this country, and some have given all by laying down their lives to defend the freedoms we hold so dear. This evening, as we reflect on the blessings of our liberty, we ask our Heavenly Father that we may be faithful stewards of the freedom we have been granted. Let us never forget that we cannot rightfully celebrate the joys of our freedom without remembering the great price paid for that freedom. We stagger at the eternal debt we owe to the untold number of American veterans who choose to set aside their personal ambitions and dreams to assure the well-being of our great nation. We, the living, are indeed the beneficiaries of those who have made great, tremendous sacrifices for the advancement and surety of our liberty. May we always be humbly grateful to those brave American patriots who suffered and sacrificed for the freedom of all of us Americans. For those soldiers who have stood guard in peacetime, and to those who have seen the terror, horror, and inhumanity of combat, and to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Let it be said that our soldiers have been there for America, defending the Constitution of the United States. To all of our veterans, we have a simple yet heartfelt message. Thank you. Thank you for your unwavering service here in this nation and throughout the world. While we pay homage to all of our American veterans tonight, we particularly would like to thank our Korean and Vietnam era veterans this evening. The Korean War vets served in a war known as a police action that has earned the nickname the Forgotten War, while our Vietnam vets served in a war that deeply divided our nation. But America is resilient. We are a country of temperance, compassion, and reason, and with the passage of time, our wounds have been healed, and we have come to understand and appreciate the great soldiers that they are. At this time, it is my great pleasure and honor to have our vets introduce themselves to you.
I'm Harry McCarthy, Army Infantry.
Myron Lee, Marine Corps.
Chuck Hanley, Army.
Jim Flockley, Navy.
Claude W. Nicholson, Army.
Tony Scotty, Navy.
Ross Umbenar.
Warren Hergenham, Army.
Carl Page, Marine Corps.
Don Schrader, Army.
Don Castellina, Marines.
William Watts, United States Air Force.
Tom Flint, United States Navy.
Archie Stovall, Army.
Werner Scherenberger, United States Air Force.
Harry Jones, U.S. Army.
Colonel Al Rubin, United States Air Force, retired.
John Mitchell, U.S. Air Force and U.S. Army.
Bud Jacobs, U.S. Air Force.
Mark Piccone, U.S. Navy.
Frank Schiaffo, United States Navy, retired.
Jim Forbes, Army.
Tim Tony, Army. Dennis Ray, Air Force.
Roger Nail, United States Army.
Ray Zanatelli, United States Army.
Joe Burton, U.S. Army.
Lynn Ryder, Army Engineers.
Wow.
John Curtis, Army Infantry.
Brad Hutchinson, Army Infantry, 20 years, Central America, Asia, Middle East.
Skip Schaefer, United States Air Force.
Dale Tucker, United States Navy.
Ed Monahan, United States Air Force.
Ken Andrus, U.S. Army.
Dan Van Antwerp, Coast Guard.
Bob Latala, Army. Jim Bryant, Army.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the chair of the Member Relations Committee, whose committee is overseeing these great events that we've had, Mr. Bill Greiner.
We're very fortunate this evening to have a very distinguished speaker as our keynote. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Fraser, U.S. Army, retired, is president of the local Military Officers Association of America. Please join me in a nice forest welcome for Colonel Fraser.
The Korean War lasted 3 years, 1 month and 1 day. So those who here represent the Korean War, some people call it the Forgotten War. You are not forgotten veterans. The Vietnam War lasted 20 years, actually minus a couple of months. Started in 1955 and ended in 1975. So for that, I want to thank all of you Vietnam veterans for your service. And you may have come back to a country in turmoil. Today, you represent the best of what veterans are. Thank you. Ordinary men and women have been defending this nation for more than 200 years, performing extraordinary duty without regard for hardship or sacrifice. That is what makes our strength our nation. Americans' veterans have answered the call of duty. That is why we honor their service today. That is why we honor their service every day. Since 1919, President Woodrow Wilson set aside the 11th day of November as Armistice Day, which was officially made a federal holiday in 1938. Americans in communities large and small gather, just as we are doing today. May the Almighty accept our thanks, bless our nation, and especially bless those who have served as a veteran. Thank you, veterans.
Veterans are special people. It was 150 years ago that the Vietnam War started. I had the privilege of serving as Secretary of Defense during a very difficult period. Wow. It is very easy to get into a war, but it is very difficult to get out of a war. We should always remember that. And it's our veterans that we owe the debt to now, because they were the ones that served. They served us and served our country.
God